What if I told you that 97% of older men are missing the real signal women use when they are interested? Not because they are unattractive, not because they are inexperienced, but because they are listening to the wrong question. Girls are not always asking to learn something about you. Sometimes the question itself is the signal. The real meaning is hidden inside curiosity. Listen carefully. When a woman asks about your routine, your favorite places, your thoughts on life, or even simple lifestyle details, she is not just collecting information. She is testing comfort. She is checking whether talking to you feels easy. Younger men often think attraction is about impressing with stories, achievements, or bold statements. But mature attraction works differently. Older men usually believe they must demonstrate value by talking more, showing more success, or controlling the conversation. But women rarely fall for pressure. They are drawn to emotional stability. When a woman feels safe in conversation, she starts revealing more of herself. This is why many women ask small, open questions. Not because the answers matter, but because the feeling behind the answer matters more. Pay attention to how she reacts when you pause before speaking. Does she stay engaged? Does she lean slightly closer? Does her curiosity continue? These are not random behaviors. They are signals of comfort and interest. Attraction is rarely shouted. It is usually invited. Many social attraction patterns are shaped by communication psychology rather than direct expression. In many cultures and social settings, women tend to express romantic or emotional interest indirectly rather than initiating attraction through explicit statements. This behavior is not about hesitation or weakness. It is more connected to social safety, emotional evaluation, and contextual observation. Directly saying, "I am interested in you," can sometimes create social pressure, unwanted judgment, or awkwardness, depending on environment. So many women prefer to send signals that allow the man to interpret interest naturally. Subtle behavioral communication becomes the primary language. Small actions such as maintaining slightly longer eye contact, showing curiosity about personal life, responding quickly to messages, or finding reasons to continue conversation are often used as indicators of interest. These signals are not random. They function as testing mechanisms to evaluate emotional safety and compatibility before revealing deeper feelings. Attraction is not always about excitement alone, but about comfort, trust, and predictability of response. Another important factor is social conditioning. Many women are taught from early life to avoid being overly forward in romantic situations. As a result, attraction may be expressed through supportive behavior, laughter at small jokes, or asking personal but non-intrusive questions. These questions are often strategically open-ended because they allow the other person to reveal personality, values, and emotional stability without feeling pressured. Men who expect attraction to appear in direct verbal confession sometimes miss these patterns. Understanding indirect communication requires patience, observation, and emotional intelligence, rather than aggressive interpretation. The goal is not to search for obvious flirting, but to recognize consistent behavioral warmth, engagement, and comfortable responsiveness during interaction. Many older men focus heavily on external markers of attraction, such as social status, financial strength, or conversational dominance, while overlooking the emotional environment they create during interaction. Women often evaluate comfort before evaluating ambition. This means the first invisible test is not about success, but about how a man makes conversation feel. If the interaction feels pressured, overly competitive, or emotionally unsafe, attraction signals may weaken even if the man is highly accomplished. Emotional safety becomes a hidden priority because it allows natural personality expression without fear of judgment. Status and experience can help in attraction, but they are not enough without warmth in communication. Women tend to observe whether a man listens without constantly redirecting conversation back to himself. When a man speaks less but responds thoughtfully, it creates the impression of emotional control and stability. Many older men mistakenly believe that demonstrating knowledge, achievements, or life experience is the fastest way to attract attention. However, excessive self-presentation can sometimes create distance because it may feel like performance rather than genuine connection. The subconscious evaluation process also includes micro-behavioral cues. How a man reacts when interrupted, whether he remains patient when the conversation slows, and whether he respects conversational pauses, all contribute to perceived emotional intelligence. Women may feel more comfortable around men who do not rush to impress, but instead maintain calm presence. Pressure often reduces attraction because it signals unpredictability or emotional demand. Another overlooked aspect is conversational equality. When a man treats interaction as a shared experience rather than a platform to showcase superiority, it builds trust. Many women are attracted to men who can balance confidence with humility because it suggests long-term relational stability rather than short-term excitement. Attraction signals are often communicated through questions rather than declarations. Many women test romantic compatibility by asking about personal life, preferences, or daily behavior instead of directly expressing interest. These questions function as emotional exploration tools rather than simple information gathering. When a woman asks about your hobbies, lifestyle habits, or future plans, she is not only learning facts, but also observing how you think, respond, and emotionally process conversation. The structure of the question is sometimes more important than the answer itself because it reveals curiosity level and engagement intention. These testing questions work as low-risk attraction signals. Direct flirting can sometimes create social vulnerability, especially in environments where rejection may cause discomfort. Therefore, indirect questioning allows emotional interest to be expressed while maintaining social safety. If the response is positive and comfortable, the conversation naturally continues. If the response feels cold, rushed, or dismissive, the interaction may gradually stop without confrontation. This communication style helps preserve dignity and reduces social tension during early attraction stages. The psychological purpose behind such questions is compatibility evaluation. Women may want to know whether a man shares similar values, lifestyle rhythm, or emotional perspective before revealing deeper interest. For example, questions about weekend activities, life philosophy, or personal interests are often subtle methods of checking long-term relational potential. Older men sometimes miss these signals because they expect attraction to be shown through obvious compliments or direct romantic statements. Body language and conversational timing also matter during these exchanges. When questions are asked slowly and followed by attentive listening, it often indicates genuine curiosity rather than formality. Responding with patience, detail, and emotional warmth increases perceived trustworthiness and makes the interaction feel naturally attractive without forcing romantic pressure. Women often use lifestyle and personal curiosity questions as a way to evaluate trust and compatibility before showing deeper emotional interest. These questions may appear simple on the surface, but they often function as psychological observation tools. When a woman asks about your daily schedule, favorite places, work routine, or long-term plans, she is trying to understand how your life structure looks and whether it aligns with hers. Attraction is not only about excitement, it is also about whether two people can comfortably coexist in predictable emotional and practical patterns. Lifestyle questions help reduce uncertainty. Human attraction is strongly influenced by the brain's need for safety and stability. If a man's answers show chaos, extreme unpredictability, or emotional volatility, subconscious attraction may decrease even if surface-level conversation remains positive. On the other hand, when responses show organized thinking, balanced priorities, and calm perspective, it creates an impression of reliability. Reliability is often interpreted as maturity because it suggests that future interaction will not be emotionally stressful. These questions also test value compatibility. Women may want to know how a man spends free time, how he handles stress, or what kind of environment he prefers. These details reveal personality structure more than direct romantic questions. For example, someone who enjoys thoughtful, quiet activities may communicate differently from someone who prefers high social stimulation. Observing these differences helps determine whether emotional connection can grow naturally. Another subtle purpose is observing conversational openness. When a man answers lifestyle questions without exaggeration or defensive behavior, it signals confidence. Over-explaining or trying too hard to appear impressive can sometimes reduce attraction because it may look like insecurity. Natural, relaxed sharing usually creates stronger emotional resonance than performance-style conversation. If this is making you rethink how attraction actually works, pause for a second and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And keep watching, because what I'm about to tell you next might change how you read women's signals forever. Body language responsiveness plays a major role in attraction because human communication is not only verbal, but also visual and emotional. Many older men focus heavily on what they say, but women often evaluate how the man reacts physically and emotionally during conversation. Small movements, such as maintaining relaxed posture, nodding slightly when listening, keeping eye contact without staring aggressively, and showing calm facial expression communicate confidence. These signals create subconscious comfort because they indicate emotional control rather than anxiety or dominance. Responsive body language also means matching conversational energy. When a woman speaks softly, aggressive or overly loud responses can feel intimidating. When she speaks enthusiastically, showing appropriate positive energy encourages emotional connection. This natural synchronization makes interaction feel smooth rather than forced. Attraction often grows in environments where communication flows without visible effort. If a man interrupts frequently, looks away constantly, or appears distracted by surroundings, it may signal emotional unavailability, even if he is interested. Another important factor is micro-expression awareness. Women sometimes observe very small reactions, such as eyebrow movement, smile timing, or breathing rhythm. These subtle cues help evaluate honesty and emotional stability. If responses look rehearsed or artificial, trust may decrease because authenticity is highly valued in early attraction stages. Natural reactions usually communicate sincerity better than perfect conversation lines. Comfortable silence is also a strong signal. Older men sometimes feel pressure to keep talking, thinking silence may be interpreted as awkwardness. However, controlled silence can actually increase attraction when both people feel relaxed. If a man can remain confident without filling every pause with words, it demonstrates emotional maturity. Many women associate this behavior with long-term relational strength because it suggests stability, patience, and inner confidence during interaction. Confidence without emotional pressure is one of the strongest attraction signals because it communicates security rather than control. Many older men believe confidence means speaking loudly, dominating conversation, or proving superiority through experience. However, real confidence is often quieter. It is the ability to remain comfortable in conversation without forcing outcomes. When a man shows that he is not desperate for approval, it reduces social tension and allows attraction to grow naturally. Women often evaluate whether interaction feels emotionally free, rather than psychologically demanding. Emotional pressure appears when a man tries too hard to impress, continuously seeks validation, or pushes conversation toward romantic direction too early. This behavior can unintentionally create discomfort because it may signal insecurity. Attraction tends to grow when interaction feels voluntary rather than obligated. If a woman feels that she is being emotionally cornered, even subtle interest may disappear. Confidence is therefore measured not by how much a man talks about himself, but by how relaxed he is when conversation does not follow his expectation. Another important aspect is outcome independence. This means behaving the same whether the woman shows strong interest or moderate interest. When attention is not treated as a scarce resource that must be captured immediately, interaction becomes more natural. Women often feel more comfortable around men who do not rush relationship progression because it suggests long-term emotional stability. Confidence also appears in response timing. Not replying instantly every time, but responding thoughtfully shows that the man has personal life structure beyond conversation. Balanced response behavior communicates self-respect and independence. These qualities are often interpreted as mature masculinity because they suggest that the man's emotional state does not depend solely on external approval or immediate romantic success. Listening is often interpreted as masculine strength because it signals emotional control, patience, and respect for the other person's inner world. Many older men mistakenly believe attraction is built by speaking more, sharing more achievements, or displaying life experience through long stories. However, women frequently evaluate how a man listens rather than how much he talks. When a man listens carefully, it creates psychological validation because it makes the other person feel valued. Feeling heard is closely linked to emotional attraction because humans naturally prefer environments where their thoughts matter. Listening as strength means allowing the woman to complete her thoughts without interruption. Interrupting conversation can sometimes signal impatience or self-centered communication style. When a man waits slightly before responding, it shows mental control and emotional maturity. This small delay is often perceived positively because it communicates that the man is processing information rather than reacting impulsively. Emotional processing ability is an attractive trait because it suggests stability during future conflicts. Another important aspect is reflective listening. Instead of immediately giving advice or changing the topic, repeating or summarizing part of what the woman said shows genuine engagement. For example, responding in a way that shows understanding of feelings behind words strengthens emotional connection. Many women feel more comfortable when conversation does not feel like interrogation or performance. Listening also builds trust because it reduces social pressure. When a man listens more than he speaks, the woman does not feel forced to maintain conversation energy alone. This shared communication balance creates natural attraction. Silence becomes comfortable rather than awkward because it is filled with psychological presence rather than verbal noise. True listening communicates respect, emotional safety, and masculine confidence that does not depend on constant expression. Women sometimes use indirect curiosity to evaluate whether a man is emotionally stable, socially safe, and compatible for long-term interaction. This curiosity is not always romantic at the surface level, but it functions as psychological exploration. When a woman asks multiple small questions about life perspective, routine, or personal opinions, it may indicate she is observing consistency in thinking and emotional behavior. Stability is highly attractive because it reduces uncertainty in future relationship dynamics. Human brains are naturally sensitive to uncertainty, and attraction often increases when interaction feels predictable in a positive way. Indirect curiosity also helps women avoid social vulnerability. Expressing interest too openly can sometimes create fear of rejection or social judgment, depending on cultural or environmental context. Therefore, asking simple questions allows emotional signals to be sent without creating pressure. If the man responds warmly, calmly, and respectfully, it reinforces interest without forcing commitment. If the response is dismissive or emotionally closed, the curiosity may gradually decrease because psychological safety is not felt. Another reason behind indirect curiosity is personality evaluation. Women may want to understand whether a man is patient, thoughtful, or impulsive. Questions about opinions, life goals, or experiences help reveal behavioral patterns. For example, consistent answers across conversation themes suggest mental stability, while contradictory or defensive responses may create subconscious doubt. Indirect curiosity also measures emotional accessibility. If a man shares information openly, without oversharing or trying to appear perfect, it signals authenticity. Many women are attracted to authenticity because it reduces relational anxiety. Attraction is often built not on dramatic expression, but on comfortable intellectual and emotional exploration. When curiosity is answered with calm confidence and natural honesty, it strengthens connection without creating conversational tension. In the end, the message behind this idea is simple but powerful. Attraction is not always loud, obvious, or aggressively expressed. Many older men miss the real signals because they search for romantic interest in the wrong places, in big compliments, dramatic flirting, or visible excitement. But real attraction often lives in the quiet space between words, inside comfortable pauses, and inside small behavioral signals that show emotional safety. Women often ask questions not just to receive information, but to feel the personality, stability, and presence behind the answers. They may use curiosity, lifestyle interest, or indirect communication as a way to evaluate compatibility without creating social pressure. Understanding this requires patience, observation, and emotional intelligence rather than forceful interpretation. True masculine presence is not about dominating conversation or proving superiority. It is about creating an environment where conversation feels natural, safe, and emotionally open. Confidence without pressure, listening without interruption, and calm responsiveness often become stronger attraction signals than loud self-promotion. Many men spend years trying to impress through achievement, while forgetting that emotional comfort is what keeps attention alive. If you are older and wondering why attraction sometimes feels confusing, remember this: women are not always searching for the most impressive man in the room. They are searching for the man who makes conversation feel easy, life feel stable, and presence feel secure. Because in the end, attraction is not about chasing signals. It is about becoming the person where signals naturally come.